Wonderful. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. And then if we have questions along the way, that's fine. Or if you want to save them to the end, that's okay too. Christina's here. So, I mean, if I miss anything that's important to the assignment, she can always jump in and let me know. I often miss things here and there that may be really important to you all for this assignment. That sounds like you'll be working with the MRI database and creating a marketing plan this semester. So that is super exciting. The MRI database is one, if you've never used it before, it looks intimidating. So we'll definitely go through that. And then I have a subject guide that I will show you all towards the end, and it has further information. So again, if you need to go back and rewatch the video or maybe look at a guide to walk you through the steps, there's a guide available for that. Okay, so I'm going to start on the library's website. And to get there, it's just libraries.missouristate.edu. Or you can use the Missouri State search box and type in library or libraries. As long as you get to this page, you'll scroll down and you'll see the hours listed here. And then below the hours is our search box. And this is where most of your information will come from. So we do have this Discover at MSU. You can type in keywords here and do a search, but really what I want you all to focus on first is this Articles and Databases tab. And when we click on Articles and Databases, there's a section here that says Find Articles by Subject. And this will take you to a whole listing of databases by subject. For you all in marketing, there is a section here just for you. And you'll notice librarians are always trying to help. So this box will pop out a lot. You can always say no thanks. So when I click on marketing, this will open up a lot of different databases for you. And we'll cover these. So Business Insights, Business Source Complete, Merchant. You'll see MRI Simmons. This used to be called University Reporter, and now it's even changing to something called MRI Catalyst. So it likes to change names often. This one does have a 10 user limit. So once I click on this, generally you'll be prompted to log in. If there are already 10 students in this database, it will tell you that the time or the wait time has hit its max and come back later. So if there's already 10 students, you'll have to come back at a different time. Now, so this is the new platform, the Catalyst platform, but we want to go back to the MRI Simmons Insights platform. To get there, we're going to go back and launch 1.1. And it takes us to the Insights platform. You can tell I was playing with that earlier. So it tries to bring up the last report you run. So here is the Insights platform, and this is where you're going to do your research for different products, or it could be if you're looking for demographic data for different products. So MRI Insights platform, what it does is they send out surveys to collect consumer product information. So this could be if you're wanting to find out a demographic population, maybe 20-year-old hikers. You want to see what type of snacks they take hiking with them or what snacks they prefer. You can look for that type of information. Or when you're doing research into combining products to make a new product, you can search those two different products separately and see what demographics purchase those products, for example. So if you're wanting to make a new chocolate wine, for example, you might want to look up Hershey's chocolate and maybe red wine and see what the demographic is there and find out which ones may be a good market to target to purchase a new product. So chocolate wine. I know that's not a new product, but surprisingly Monday morning, that is where my mind went. So I know. Okay, so to start this, you'll have your products in mind and we'll type those in. One thing about this database, it can be really picky on the keywords. So you might have to try different keywords to bring up exactly what you're looking for. I think it's getting a little better than it has in the past. So for example, if we're thinking about KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce, Oh, and it's starting to bring it up. So as you type, it will try to figure out what you're typing. And I'm going to choose KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce, and it will have different options here. This is brands most often. So this is going to be what we're choosing today. So brands most often. And so if I'm thinking about making a new product and I'm going, okay, so barbecue sauce, maybe potato chips. So I've searched my barbecue sauce. I'm going to click on column and add that to a column. And when I click the column button, you'll notice on the left-hand side, it has added this to a column. So then I'm going to add my next product in. So I'm going to do Lay's Classic Potato Chips. Lay's Classic Potato Chips. I'm going to choose brands most often. So that's going to be the brand that's most often purchased. I'm going to add that to my column as well. So I click on column. And again, you'll notice on the left-hand side that has added that to here. So your columns will be broken up. So just like columns, they go vertically. So when we're looking at rows, so horizontal, we're trying to find the demographics that purchase those products and to find where the overlap is. To do that, the easier way is to go to this dictionary search. And if I went too quick, let me show that one more time. So we did this composer dictionary. I click on composer, so it's going to bring up this dictionary option here. And this is where you're going to look for your demographics. So I think you may have a listing of these. When you go through this, just be very careful because it can get confusing. So you can type in a search here, or what's nice is they have all of these demographics arranged for you. So for example, if we're looking for lifestyle demographics, you can click on that, it will bring it down and you have your personal information. Personal information, that's going to be your gender and your age. So when we're looking for, let's do gender, we have male, female. This is a little different than the video that's on the subject guide. So I'm glad we are recording this today. You can click on all. And then what you can do, you can click on add if you want to, but usually I just drag that over to our row section. So this is where you're going to get that cross tab. So your vertical columns and your horizontal rows. From here, you can also click on your age ranges. So these, just be mindful of your options here. So there's a lot of different ways that you can search by your age ranges. So if you have a specific listing, make sure you're checking the right one. So if we're doing 22 to 24, 25 to 29, I'm going to choose some of these here. So all you have to do is click on the ones that you want to add. And once you have those selected, just drag and drop those over into your rows. I know it's kind of neat how that works. You can continue to add in as much as you need. So we have race, we have education. So if you want to choose different education levels, I'll do a few of these. Let's do, and whichever ones you select, just make sure to drag those over. You can check to make sure which ones are there. And I always advise to go through this listing and make sure that you have everything there before you run your report. There's also occupation. I mean, there's lots of different information here. Now, when you're looking for household income, marital status, it may take a little bit of digging to find those. The other section down here is geographies. So you can click on geographies and see which ones are listed here. There's a section here for census regions. This will give you your areas, so Northeast, Midwest, South, West. So if this is something that you need to look for all of these, again, you can check all and then drag those over to your rows. I won't go through the full listing because I think it's pretty detailed, but this should give you a good idea. Once you have your rows set up, you can click this Run Report button, and this will bring up your crosstabs. And I know this looks a little intimidating at first. What we're going to look at are these index numbers. So you don't have to worry about all these other numbers. We're going to focus on the index numbers. So you'll notice this one column, it says barbecue marinade, and then you have your Lay's classic potato chips. When you're looking at the index, the baseline is 100. So think of that again at 100. So anything that is over 100 is going to be the percentage more likely to purchase that product. Anything under 100 is the percentage less likely. So if we have 80 right here, so 80, they're 20% less likely to purchase. And that would be, so we're on our barbecue sauce. So this one is 80%, so it's 20% less likely. That's ages 22 to 24. And then we have this one down here, it's 127, so they are 20% more likely to purchase barbecue sauce. That looks like it is our ages 40 to 44. Right, so really interesting. Then you can compare these as well. So when you come over here to the potato chips, you can see which ones are positive, which ones are kind of the negative. And they have those with the arrows pointing up and arrows pointing down. The ones that are just the dashes, generally those are going to be the ones that are pretty close to the 100 baseline. You can still review those, but they're fairly close to that baseline level. Now, when you want to compare these, you can click on this index button and it will resort the data for you. So when I click on index here for the barbecue, it will bring towards the top the ones that are more likely to have purchased. So you'll notice like the 129, 120. So that brings the positive numbers towards the top. If I click the index again, it sorts it the other way. So the ones that are least likely to purchase a product. And then when you click it one more time, it takes you back to normal. Okay. Now, I know this looks a little confusing. If you prefer to look at this as an Excel spreadsheet, you can export this information. So on the left-hand side, you have this export. You can export this into an Excel file. So it's export XLS. You click on that. I have 3 screens, so okay, here we go. And you'll notice that puts that into an Excel file. So if you're used to using Excel, you can sort this just as you do any Excel file. It does bring over the same information. So you have your index listed here. So your positives and negatives. So you have, for example, this one, there's your 80. So that's 20% less likely. And you'll notice this one does have 1 star on it. So what that means is it indicates a cell count from 31 to 60. So projections may be unstable. So when they did the survey, they may not have had enough data to confidently generalize that to the rest of the population. So you can still use that data. They're just telling you to use it with caution. And the same if there's 2 stars. So if it's 2 stars listed there, then the cell count was below 31. So they're not as comfortable generalizing is what that means. From here, you can modify this as you need to. So for your reports that you're turning in, you can take out some of these columns if you don't need those. But again, we're focusing on these index columns here. Your report will look different than this since I didn't bring over all the demographic information. Okay. Any questions on this so far? Did I skip anything you might need? Okay. Wonderful. And again, this will be recorded. You can always go back and watch this, and there's other recordings on the subject guide as well. Okay. So the MRI report will give you data. So demographics, what they're purchasing, things like that. When you're going through and creating other marketing reports, you're going to want to find company information, for example, You'll want to find some SWOT analyses, competitor reports, things like that. So back on that library's homepage, that articles and databases tab, by subject, we went to marketing first. We talked about that MRI Simmons Insights. We have these other databases that will also help you. So we have Business Insights Essentials. Let me open this one first. Now this platform has changed slightly. So if you've used it in the past, it looks a little different this semester. It's the same database. They just kind of rearranged it, which databases often do that. I'm not sure why, but just to keep us on our toes, I guess. So this Gale Business Insights, you can search by company name here, or if you know the industry that you're searching for, you can search by industry. And let's do, since now I have potato chips on the brain, we can do Frito-Lay, for example. And as you start to type it, it will give you suggestions. So the company profile is listed at top here. You can also go through this industry profile if you need to. And then they have county territory profiles. But it already knows I'm starting to type in Frito-Lay. So I'm going to click on Frito-Lay. And this will take you to a landing page for the company. Now, part of things about company research, if it's a private company, sometimes it's very difficult to find all of the information you may need. If it's a private or a public company, generally we can find that information fairly easily. And so you'll notice here is some of the information. So 2022 revenue, this database does not have it available. So it may be if you're trying to find that information, you have to do a little bit more digging. And it could be that this went from public to private. So that's where sometimes you have to go to the website and try to find that information. Down below, you'll find your competitors list here. So this will be helpful when you're looking for competitors. So if you're trying to figure out, okay, who is my other potato chip companies, you can go through here and find some competitors' names. You may already have some in mind. This does talk about the industry as well. So if you're not sure what your industry is for your companies, you can find that located down here. So other snack food, manufacturing. And then down below is where you start getting to these company articles. So you can find trade journal information, magazines, academic journal articles. You can see where Frito-Lay has been in the news as well. But the other part that you will find interesting is this market share section. So when we click on that, and it has 122 market share rankings listed here. Really, I'm after potato chips though. So top potato chip makers 2022. And this is another way to find your competitors. So again, if you're focusing on potato chips and Frito-Lay is a potato chip manufacturer, you can see who else is making potato chips here. Gosh, and you'll notice Frito-Lay has 59.11 of the total market shares in 2022. That's a lot. They're doing pretty well with potato chips here. You can see some of the other ones. Kettle Foods, I love kettle chips, but they're at 3.09. So this is a good one to come through and see what market share that your company has. And again, looking for competitors. You are able to download, save these, any reports in here. You can even connect them to your Google Drive account, and you'll notice that some of our databases will do this for you. It does connect to OneDrive. It doesn't connect very well to OneDrive. I don't think anything really does, but you can print, email, save these reports. Okay. So that is Business Insights. Definitely don't hesitate to go through and try these databases and see what information you can find. If you're not finding the information you need in one database, there are so many others to try. So we have Business Insights Essentials. That's the one we just covered. Business Source Complete is a completely different database than the one we just reviewed. If you used any EBSCOhost databases in the past, though, this will look familiar. This is an EBSCOhost database. So it searches very similar to any other EBSCOhost database. You can type in your keywords here, but there is a tab here at the top for company information. So again, if you're still searching for different company information and maybe Business Insights didn't have everything you're looking for, you can type it in and see what we have available here. So this one, Frito-Lay North America, out of Texas. So this will give you your financial information. Is this a public entity? No. So that's probably why we were having trouble in Business Insights, trying to get that latest information. This one does give you a little bit of revenue here though. And this report, let's say, let's see if I can find the date on this. Not seeing the date. Oh, year found in 1989. Interesting. Last updated date. So 4/18/2023. So that's fairly recent. So this gives a little bit more information than what we saw before. And again, you can see some of this information here. You can go through industry. And if you want to find out more about the industries, you can always click on this and it will link to articles about that industry. If you're wanting to find out more information about Frito-Lay, for example, SWOT analyses, I would go back to the search and type in Frito-Lay and SWOT, for example. And this will bring up the SWOT analyses for these companies. So again, this is just a search, and you'll notice I put "and" in between. So it's telling the database you're looking for that company and their SWOT analysis. Notice the dates on these and make sure you're using the most recent one. It tries to do a pretty good job by putting the most recent towards the top, but just double check those. When you click on this, it will give you a little bit of information here. And on the left-hand side is where you can click on the full PDF of this. I do like these reports. They're only 8 pages long, but it gives you a nice company overview. And then it has your kind of smaller SWOT analysis here. So it lists all the strengths, weaknesses, threats. And then down below that, it goes into more detail on those. You can always click on the PDF full text. If you're like, oh, I just want to go straight to the full text, you can do that as well. You can limit to publication date. So if you only want the last couple years to show up, you can narrow by date. There's sometimes this link here for market research reports. You can click on that and that will bring up some market research reports. Watch the dates on those sometimes because it will bring up older information. If you're wanting a market share report, I would use that as a keyword. So Frito-Lay, and we got to type it in correctly, and market share. And sometimes you'll find really interesting information, but again, watch the dates. I would definitely change these publication dates. You'll notice it's pulling information from 1983. So I would change those up. Sometimes you can find really good information, but yeah, watch the dates. If you do find, we go back to our SWOT analysis. If you do find one that you're going to use, you do have these options on the right-hand side. So similar to what we had in Business Insights, you have these tools. You can connect this to your Google Drive. You can print, email, save. This one does have a citation generator on it. So you can do, if you're using APA 7th edition, you can click on cite and it will give you your citation here. Which citation, that's the part that everyone loves the most, right? So it tries to help. Double check it. These will not always be 100%. So make sure you are double checking that it looks correct before turning in any work. Okay. So we've talked about Business Insights Essentials, Business Source Complete. I'm just going down the line here. We do have Merchant Online. This one is a different database that shows a lot of detail for different companies. I'm gonna do Hershey this time. It's moving out of chip territory to desserts. So Hershey company, as you type it in, again, it tries to help here. I'm going to click on the Hershey company. So again, background information on your companies has a lot of information listed here. You get the business summary. You can go through and see the history of different companies. Oh gosh, all kinds of information. The one thing that I do want to show here is the annual reports. And this will not be available for every company. Again, it depends on if your company is public or private. But when you're trying to find maybe distribution type information or a little bit more about maybe their SWOTs, you can sometimes find that in their reports. So if you go to an annual report, the ones I would look for is where it says 10K. These are huge reports, but generally it's going to be the first part that you'll be interested in. And so it will show, so business, risk factors. So those are usually the first two sections that I look at. Let's expand this a little bit. So it gives you a little bit of background information. It shows you reportable segments. Business acquisition. So if they do purchase any other company, this seems to happen a lot, y'all. I did not realize until I started working with Christina how many times companies purchase other companies. So you'll have brands that just take over. So that's something to really kind of go through. It talks about their products and brands, their principal customers, and marketing strategy. A lot of these reports will have very similar sections. That's why I'm showing this. Not each company will have the same, but generally they'll have the same kind of sections. So when you're looking for maybe who they're trying to market towards or get ideas on your product that you want to create, say, okay, this is how they're doing it. This might give you some different options when you're researching. This also talks about their raw materials and pricing. So when you're trying to find out, like, where are they getting their information? Where are they getting their products? Sometimes you'll find distribution channels listed here as well. And their competition. Talk about their competition. And then sometimes they'll go into other companies that they're competing with. All of this research and development, food quality. So there's some details in here that may be too much for this project, but it's things to even keep in mind for future projects as well. And I found that under merchant and annual reports. I find these really fascinating. And maybe it's just me, but I find them completely full of just fascinating information that you can use for lots of projects. Okay. So again, we covered business insights, business source, merchant. MRI was that first really interesting database full of actual data. You can go through some of these others. Wall Street Journal will talk about different information, company information. You find some of the latest current data in Wall Street Journal. There's others that you can search if you want to. Cost of living index is there. And then we have, at the very beginning, I mentioned this Discover at MSU box here. This one will search across our databases. So if you're wanting to find just general information, such as in magazines, newspapers, maybe some journal articles, you can use Discover to find that information. Oh, it's very pulled up, certainly that marketing and chocolate, for example, since we just covered Hershey. you can do a search in Discover. Now, Discover is an EBSCOhost-based platform. So again, when we talked about Business Source Complete being EBSCO-based, this one is the same way. So anytime you search, I would use and in between your keywords. You'll have your limiters on the left-hand side. And then when you click on anything, it will bring up those options on the right. Again, watch the dates on this. It says 1479. My goodness. I don't even know what that would be. But you can change this up. So anything, maybe the last 5 years, since you all are in marketing, I mean, I would keep that as current as possible. And you'll notice some information here. If you want to see what we have available today. So if you are working on a project that's due next week, you might want to limit this where it says available in library collection. That will only pull up the full text information that we have currently. If you want to if you want the library to try to provide more information, you can leave this off, and then we can do interlibrary loan requests. So for example, oh gosh, fair trade and chocolate, we have videos, you'll find all kinds of information in this database. If you're finding things in different languages, you can also limit to language over here as well. So you have all these options here. Trade publications are a good place for marketing folks to go, because this will bring up things that are happening, oh gosh, in that specific trade area. So if it's anything to do with travel, this one's travel, but if it's maybe desserts, chocolates, if you're looking at different industries, for example, sometimes travel reports are great places to go. Oh yeah, Godiva is chocolate. That's a great marketing tagline, right? So you might find really good information here that you can use for your projects. And again, I'm limited to publication date, trade publications, and then that available in library collection to pull up those full text that we have available. And if you see anything that looks interesting, you can click on the PDF full text, or again, if you click on the title of any of these, you have those tools on the right-hand side, including the cite button. One of the things though, is however it's listed down below is how it pulls into your citation. So this one I brought up just to show you, it's a computer. So it pulls the information. It doesn't actually put it in the correct format all the time. This one's all in capital letters, so you'd have to go back and adjust that one. All right. And as promised, I do want to show you our subject guides here. And the reason why is everything we've talked about today is in a marketing subject guide. So you can type in marketing to search. You can go to list all guides and click on marketing. But once you're here, click on the bold marketing, and it takes you to our subject guide here. You can also contact me from here. There's a way you can email me. You can also schedule an appointment. So if you need a little bit extra help with MRI or any of these other databases, you can make an appointment with me. These can be virtual, because you all, I know you're in a virtual class. You can do a virtual meeting with me. We can do in-person meetings, but this will show you dates and times that I'm available. If you can't find a time that works for you, send me an email. Let me know. You might, when you send me an email, put MKT or marketing in the subject line so that I catch those. Yeah, feel free, email me, schedule an appointment. But then up here at the top, there's different tabs to help you. So MRI, it did change a little bit. So if you've used it in the past, there's a way you can get back to the old platform. This tells you a little bit about the database. There's a link to take you to the database. How to read our crosstabs. So we talked about the index, how to use the index. There's a few user guides available. This guide, I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but if you click watch on YouTube, it will take you to that video as well. And then there's another tab for Marketing 772. It just lists those other databases that we talked about. So Business Insights, Business Source. There is some local information available if you're looking for anything local. And then MRI Reporter, it will suggest to come back to that full tab for it. Again, you can watch that on YouTube as well. All right. So there's ways you can contact me. If you're on the home page, you'll notice that that Ask Us tab usually pops out. This is our chat function, so you can always chat with a librarian here as well. And there is an Ask a Librarian link on the left-hand side. Takes you back to our chat box. If the chat is closed for the night, you can submit a question. The librarians will get back to you the next morning. And then down below, you can also reach us a few other ways. And there's another place to do the one-on-one appointment with a librarian. I highly suggest this if you get to a place where you're starting to get really frustrated with your research, contact us and we will try to help you as best as possible. All right. Are there any questions, or Christina, do you think did I miss something?
Thank you for all the information that you've provided. This is going to be very helpful for both their MRI assignment and for their marketing plan assignment. So thank you very much for the detailed presentation for us.
You are welcome. And you all, I know I may talk very quickly. I drink a lot of coffee in the morning. So on the recording, you can always slow it down if you need to, or jump to different sections that you want to spend a little bit more time on.
Thank you.
Yeah, everything is pretty good, but yeah, it's like pretty confusing a bit, but need to like just check the recorded video. However, because like there is like a lot I am like just getting through. So like one quick question. So when we are getting into this Simmons MRI Simmons, so as you have like shown me this, I have launched 1.0, and like when I'm just clicking on the 1.0, there is a page which like popped up, and over there if I wanted to just get into this columns, okay, I just entered. So I was just planning to do something like a random stuff like on the shoes category on like Adidas or Nike. So I just clicked on this Nike. So with that one, we need to make the differences between both of them, between the Nike or else like the other brand, or is it like something like we need to create up only one particular brand, or else is there any particular brand you would be suggesting on?
No, no, I get. Yeah,
That's a
right.
great question.
No, I get all you mean.
So it kind of depends on what's going to work best for your
Okay,
client.
just go into like Nike apparel, shoes, and footwear. The third one.
The third one?
Yeah, anything. Yeah, the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say probably, and Christina may have some better input into this one. Generally, it's going to be what works best for your you might try one or the other, or you may try both and see which one gives you some data that might be better.
Well, one of them, like number 3, is talking about shoes, and number 4 also has apparel. Well, I don't know. I think they're very similar. They're very similar.
Okay. So we can do even the comparison for both the brands, or else it's only for one particular brand and different styles in brands.
It's about one brand, and if you want to look at another brand, you can look up another brand and add it to a column if you want both of those, like she did for the barbecue and the potato chips.
Okay, but I was just trying, can you able to like again show me like how I can able to do that?
Yeah,
getting into the column. Yeah.
And I would choose, if you're looking for the brand, this is the one I would probably start with. Just if it starts with, I don't know, I would try that one first. But once you click on it, then click
on column.
Okay. That's how it will add it. But yeah, if you want to see like the difference, then yeah, I would add both of them.
Oh yeah, anything. Okay. And columns, okay.
And then whichever, if you're wanting to look at a couple of different brands there, so like Reebok, or if you're wanting to compare brands, you can do that. Or if you're wanting to look at,
Can we, can we integrate these in an automatic?
Anything like
yeah,
something.
Later date
if you're
or
wanting to
don't need to be?
combine those and make a new product.
So is it something like okay.
Or
Mhm.
Reebok,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Column,
that-
okay.
that is-
And
that-
then and I would switch over. So once you want to start entering your demographic information,
Uh-huh.
then yeah, I would click that composer and it will bring up
Ah,
this
okay.
area.
Okay, lifestyle. Okay, so where we can able to set up all the stuff like over here, the age, we need to like just move it under the this one,
Yeah, yeah.
to the rows.
Yeah, because that would be really interesting. The ages, who purchases Nike versus Reebok, amongst the
Got
age
it.
differences,
Got
or
it.
even gender. I mean,
Got it. Got it. So this generates an whole report in and like the Excel, and that is what we need to like just run the report and submit it, or else is that something we need to work on more like in order to go over it.
If you're talking about the assignment, you're going to need to get the data. And then I would export it into an Excel file. And then if you look at the assignment, there's an explanation of what you're going to do to analyze it. So you're retrieving the information and then the assignment is analyzing the data. So that's on Blackboard under this
Okay.
week. And you'll see if you click on the document, it'll show you step by step what it
Okay.
is that you need to do to analyze it. And so
Okay.
you would
Okay.
submit both the data and the analysis.
Okay. Let me first get through with the Blackboard, and like probably if there is any questions, I might have few questions.
That would be
so I can
fine. Sure, sure.
be getting on that. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So this is the only one we have, like the assignment and the one case study, as well as like the other stuff like on the segmentation and some stuff, I think so, right?
Yeah, so you would use MRI for your MRI assignment, and then you would use it for your segmentation and target marketing in your marketing plan.
Okay, okay. Let me get through the Blackboard and like just check it out, like what's the big schedule today, and probably that should be
Okay, and you
fine.
can contact me later with more specific questions.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Thank you,
That's it
Tracy.
from my end. Yeah, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Christina.
yes, you're so welcome.
Yeah.